Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Building with Gazmo tutorial, where today we're going to be attacking basic detailing. And detailing is a big part of any build. It changes things dramatically from just having a barefaced structure to having a bit of design on it, making it more 3D. Today I'm here with Hinder, and Hinder's going to be walking us through little bits and bobs that we've dotted around and explain to you the basic concept behind detailing. So Hinder, take it away.
All right. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to start by running you through a little bit of interior work. While details are a major part of it, one of the primary details that people don't like working on are interiors. I find this because of the fact that people don't find enough variation in the blocks to actually want to do the interiors. So what we're going to do is we're going to run you through some of these. As you can see here, this is what looks like a basic table. Incredibly easy concept. All you're going to do is you're going to take your stairs, you're going to lay them down like that, you're going to click, make yourself an upside down stair, and then you're going to take your half steps, you're going to do the same thing right over here, and you're going to go ahead, get rid of that. That's how easy that is. And what you're going to find is if you take that and then you take some normal stairs, you can hop up and put them like this, and there you go. Now you have a bench for your table, and you can go ahead and start throwing that stuff in there. Now, that's the most basic table. If you come right over here, as you can see, what we've done is we've taken pistons and we've taken redstone torches underneath the floor to make them pop up and have the appearance of a pub table. Now, what we use this for, and you can even do something where you take a sticky piston, and in our particular texture pack and in the default texture pack, it'll actually look like, it's kind of cool for a bar, a little nasty little detail, but it'll look like somebody spilled something on the table and things like that. So that's just, it's very, very small things like that that are going to really make your structures pop. As you can see over here, just your basic chair with signs on the side to make it look like it has arm posts. You've got an elevated chair. This can make it look like a bar stool or something like that. Something simple like this, where what you've done is all you do is you take, you put your bar stool or your elevated chair like that, and you take your stairs and throw them in here sideways, and now you've got a little ottoman there for your character. Or, you can do something like this where you throw wool behind it and you make it look a little bit more like a throne. So basically, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to experiment with your different block types. And Ed, if you want to follow me right over here, we've got a little kitchen and a bar set up. And I'm going to show you all basically some of the different things that we've done in here just to, kind of break it up and let people know that it's a kitchen. Now, we are using the Aetherius Ascended texture pack, which is made for a survival server. This surprisingly is not a creative texture pack, but we've found a lot of different ways to use it. So like these knives on the wall here, these are actually paintings that we've taken and we've put over glass blocks. And then we took these metal, the iron doors, and we put them over iron, and it's just your essentially the little dispenser there to spit out food and things like that. And then we've taken our crafting tables and we've put them here to look like shelves in the kitchen, and taken your brick and put it over the stove, and you just do basic things like that to get your interiors together. Now, like I said earlier, it's a really big thing to do your interior work because people really want to know that not every structure you make is going to be just from the outside. People are going to want to go in and kind of explore and live in the Minecraft world. RP is a huge thing in there.
And it makes it feel more realistic at the end of the day. It
really does.
You're trying to build realistic structures half the time, and a little interior to it makes all the difference.
Yeah. And another thing that I like to go over is you can see here we've got a lot of just leaves, and the greenery is really going to make things too. If you go to a lot of public places or a lot of hotels and things like that, you're going to see where they have a lot of plants in the lobby, and that's for a reason. It's because it brings out the natural beauty of the space. And so what you can do is you can see how we've done the cauldron here. If you happen to be on a server where leaf decay is on, what you can do is you see how we've taken a log and we've put the leaves on top of the log, and then we've covered it on the outside with the trap doors. And that kind of takes away that, that bland look of the log, but it also makes your leaves stay. Another thing you can do that is really kind of cool is you can make things that look like maybe sinks and fountains. You can make something like this. And that right there, take that and you fill it with water, and there you go, you got a sink. So really, you can do stuff like that.
So really it's about taking blocks that you wouldn't necessarily think about using as interior decoration or any decoration, and giving them another use, giving them another purpose, like the leather there. It makes a perfect tap, but it is at the end of the day just a leather.
Yeah, and that's I couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, that's exactly what you want to try to do, and that's why I mean, you're not going to see every different detail that you can do in this video, because that's the primary thing, is you want to go out and you want to experiment with what you can do. I mean, we're going to try to help you, but what you need to realize is all of this is about experimentation. So some things we have to show you right here. If you can see, what we've done is we've taken stairs and we've stacked them in kind of this odd arrangement, or what it looks like. But what that does is it makes a really cool window for the outside of your detailing. You can, or just, you know, a square, if you want to put different designs with this on the outside, and you can expand it in, you know, really cool ways, or you can continue the pattern and things like that, or you can, you know, change it around, things like...
It's funny how many uses steps have. Again, they are just a step, but with all, now you can invert them and everything. It really makes the outside of buildings pop. It gives it a whole different use.
Oh, definitely. I mean, putting stairs upside down, are you kidding me? That's the best thing Minecraft's had an idea for until they do multi-threading. So as you can see right here, what we've done is we've taken these stairs and we've stacked them up, and we take that half step and we throw it right there in the middle, and then we throw more right on top. And then that just makes what looks like a bookshelf. You can put these in closets. You can put them in just your normal storerooms, things like that, to look like shelves that people can store things on. If you happen to have a mod that allows you to put items on shelves, these are actually, just kind of a side tip, these are actually wide enough that you can put your items on there. So if you happen to be a person who uses those mods, those will actually work, which is, I think, really cool. Another way to show you to do tables is just basic tables like this, where you use the once again the inverted steps to, you know, surround something like this, and you put that up inverted step there, and what it does is it makes it look like a table, so that people actually have leg room. And now, if say you wanted this to be a square table, you just take some inverted half steps, such as that, right there, and there you go. Now you've got your rectangular table, you've got your leg room under there, so people aren't cramped and sitting against a square, and that's something really cool. What we're going to move on to next is we're going to move on to repetition. Now, repetition can be really annoying in builds, but it can also, it's a staple of making things look good. As you can see here, this is not really a very large block palette of blocks. And if you all don't exactly know what I'm talking about when we talk about block palettes, we did cover this in our last video, so I would definitely encourage you to go back and watch that. But as I said, this is not it's not a lot of different blocks or anything like that. Before we get started, I do want to cover this block right here. This is a double half slab. This is 43.6 is the data value. Now, these are incredibly useful because of the fact that most people don't have access to them, so including them in your creative builds can make things look really cool, because a lot of people aren't used to seeing them. Too Many Items has access to them. Voxel Get, which is also another plugin you can use to access items, will give you inventory access to them. But 43.6, once again, is your data code to get those. So, going back to repetition, as you can see, what I've done here is all I've done is I've built this basic wall, and I've repeated some of the patterns to make them look this way. Now, one thing that a lot of people fail to realize about building things like this is they say, wow, how do you make them look as good as they do? I'm not saying this is the best looking thing, but the thing that a lot of people don't realize is everything in Minecraft has to have depth. Now, as you can come right here and you can see, Ed, this wall alone is 4 blocks thick. That's because of the fact that I had to allow for the glass, the wood, both types of stone, and I had to basically do that just so I could create basic shadowing on this. Now, that's a huge thing, is most people play Minecraft in a moody light setting. So when you are actually going to do something like this and create a basic design that you can copy and paste with World Edit, you need to realize that it can't be just 1 block thick. It needs to be multiple blocks thick. It needs to have some depth, because things in real life, they have depth. So that's what people are going to look for. It brings a lot of detail out in your builds. It gives you more space to detail. Like if I wanted to, I could go through and I could add in a half step on all of these different areas, and I could add in, you know, just more of this basic repetition to break it up more. Basically how I'm doing right there, and it just, you know, it's a variation of colors, which is something we're about to move on to as well. So moving on right over here, we've got some basic pillars set up. Now, one of the primary things I wanted to show you all here is a contrast of colors. Contrast is a huge thing to put into the detail of your builds, especially when you're coming up with your block palette. Is you see, this, I could have made this entire thing out of stone, and it would have looked bland. It would have looked nasty, and it's just how it goes. But what I did is not only did I break up the kinds of stone I used, as you can see that double half slab that I was telling you about is right here. I've got stairs right there. I've got stairs here. I've got half slabs, stairs there. And then what I did is instead of using stone for my pillar, I used logs, spruce logs. So what that allowed me to do is it allows as soon as somebody looks at that, what they're going to do is they're going to see, wow, okay, that's something that kind of pops to their eye instead of just something that blends into the background, which is what you want. Whenever you're thinking about detailing even the smallest wall, you want to definitely make sure it's going to pop. Everything should pop. Now, what I did here is a lot of people I find ask about curves, how to do them, and how to properly accomplish a curve in a pillar or a curve in a circle or something like that. We're also going to be including a link with the video to a site called Mineconics that's going to help you all out a lot with that. But this is the basics of how to do it. So when you're building a curve like this, what you want to keep in mind is it's all about numbers. So say you do something that's 5 tall. Then you want to do your next one 4 tall, then 3 tall, and then 2 tall, and then the 1. Okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to do the 2, and the 3, and the 4. The only rule to think about is you're never going to want to make that top part bigger than this initial starting 5 blocks. And that's not to say that this can't be taller than 5 blocks. This could be 50 blocks tall if you want. But that next arm up here can't be longer than that 5 blocks if you want it to look right. Otherwise, it's going to look lopsided, or it's going to look like it doesn't have enough support. So, as you can see, that arc I just made can be taken right over here. And we can take this, and we fill it in, and we've got, you know, a proper gate door or something like that, castle door, something massively large that you see on these big builds around YouTube and things like that. Okay. So, kind of moving on from there, what we're going to do is we're going to show you some different ideas to use stairs with, some different ideas to do with roads, and to kind of bring some detail into things. This is a personal design that I really like to use on roofs, so you would actually be doing this upside down. As you can see right here, Ed, I've kind of laid out how you lay these stairs, and you're obviously going to put them all together, and then it creates this cool little like almost like a little star design. And I do this on roofs because it creates really awesome lighting effects. If you take this and then what you do is you're going to pop these out, and you're going to throw some glowstone in along the sides of them, and it will create really awesome lighting effects throughout all these little openings. So that's
again, sorry, this is just stairs again.
Yeah, once again, just stairs.
Really has a lot of uses.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Stairs, button, fences, levers, all of it is incredibly useful. I mean, if you come right over here and you look at this design here, the floor of a gazebo, or the floor of really anything. You take these stairs, you look in any of your big builds from any of your major builders, and you're always going to see things like this on the road. It is just a cool way to break things up, because the one of the monotonous parts of builds is always the roads. You have these massive roads, and you just have them stretching on, and they're all the same, and it's like all those lines just blend together. So what you do is you just take these stairs and you break them up. If you come right over here, what you see is I've laid out a basic block palette that I like to use for making roads look old. I've got some cracked stone block here, which is your data code for that is 98.2. You have a mossy stone brick, which is 98.1. You have gravel, which is data code 13. And then you have basic dirt and basic stone brick, which is also 98. So what's going to happen is you are going to take those, data codes I just gave you, and you're going to, I've obviously poked some holes in this road ahead of time, but you're going to go and you just randomly poke holes in things, and then you take these and you just kind of fill them in, and then you switch over to your mossy and do some stuff like this. And then instead of a road that looks incredibly plain, now we have a road that looks used, or a road that could be in like maybe a sewer or a rundown district of a city, because obviously this one isn't cleaned that often. Whereas here, we have a nice pristine road. The difference with this road is we've included a sewer intake. Now, how I have done this is I have taken half steps, and I've taken stairs here, and I'm going to use wood to kind of show you what I'm doing here. I've taken these steps and I've placed them like that, and I've taken the iron bars and put them there, and then I have, as you can see here, normally iron bars are going to attach to a block like that. But what we're going to do is we're going to use stairs as that block to make that solid background. We're going to turn those stairs around, and it's going to keep those iron bars from attaching. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take some half slabs and lay it over there, and we're going to take some normal, brick, or, well, that's our normal brick, there we go, and we're going to lay it over, and then what we've got is another little detail to add to our streets to make them a little bit better looking. And that is, like I said, it's going to be huge in your builds. Just really, if you're thinking about anything, lay out your roads before you build them, and plan them out such as this. Now, this is actually, above all, my favorite road design because of the fact that I happen to live in a snowy area of Minecraft. So the good thing about steps and half slabs is the fact that the snow will not cover them. It will fall, and it will completely avoid these blocks. And what's really cool is the fact that you have half slabs that come in all the different colors of wood, the different colors of brick and things like that. So what we can do is we just line our roads in these things to give them a curb, which is really cool, especially if you happen to have, like say a building that's along the edge of your road, or you happen to have, some sort of dirt or something like that. It allows it to have that sunken look that actually means, okay, this road was supposed to be here. All right. Another big thing that people do is they will generally just, when they're building their stuff, they will say, okay, well, I am going to put some lamps in, and in order to do that, I'm going to either put a fence with a piece of glowstone on top of it, like such, or I'm going to take a fence and I'm going to put a torch on top of it. That's no fun to look at. What you can see here, and our fearless commander and our fearless leader, vorske here, built these for us, and these are prime examples of exactly what I'm talking about. These are interesting to look at. These are what you want to see in your city, so that when you're walking down your streets, everybody's like, oh, ah, and that's a good thing. That's what you want to accomplish. So always keep that in mind. And this goes back to exactly what I was saying earlier, is the fact that you want to experiment with what you can do. I mean, you don't look at this street lamp right here and go, okay, that just popped into my head. You actually have to fly around that a couple times, and you have to work with the fence post that he's using and all that stuff to kind of get that final design. So make sure that you are experimenting, and once again, that you're thinking outside the box with your blocks. Here is just a basic wall design. What we've done is we've just spruced it up with a difference of block palette. Once again, you can see between the white and the spruce wood, that's that contrast I'm talking about. It gives kind of that, that Danish feel to the architecture. And what you're going to do is I just lined the walls with the fences here, and that brings some levity, because since this wall is literally only a block thick, which sometimes they're going to have to be in smaller structures, what you're going to do is you're going to use things like fences and buttons. I can click this button all I want. It's not going to do anything, but it does look great there because it breaks up that wood, contrasts the wood very well. Coming right over here, you can see once again, I've used the trapdoors, and I have taken these half steps and laid them on top here to just kind of break up, because like this can get a little repetitive sometimes. So maybe instead of doing that, we'll break it up a little bit. And then I've also once again used the stairs here, as you can see, and I've put glowstone behind them. And as you can see, that creates a really cool lighting effect, and it will allow you to, as you get used to these different lighting effects that your blocks are going to throw, it's going to allow you to do really cool things with some of the wall designs that you do. And always think the bigger the better. That is one of the major things with doing all of this. All right. Now, one of the final things that I've been excited about showing you all is this. If you get up here, as you can see, you all, this has lava in it, and I've surrounded it with netherrack, and surprisingly, it's not because I want to set it on fire. It's not because it's from the nether. I've also got my conveniently placed pasting locations, and I'm going to quickly get those. Okay, now that I've got my pasting locations, what we are going to do is I'm going to teach you about a block called the Invisible Block from World Edit. It is amazing. It's actually, I'm fairly certain it's in the game, but I always use World Edit to put it in. So what we're going to do is we're going to type / replace, and then we're going to type out netherrack, and then we are going to hit space and then put in 36. That is your data ID value for your invisible block. And as you can see, what that's done is that's now allowed us to suspend this lava with invisible blocks that are there. Now, this is very similar to the no physics brush in voxel, but it's a lot easier to use because you can make your selection, it can be as big as you want, and you can make it out of a block that's not commonly used in your build. That way, if you want to do a mass replace, you can. And that's going to allow you to do some really cool things. Making floating flames, making water that's floating. A floating orb of water that can make a build look pretty cool. So if you come right over here, Ed, sorry to stretch it way across here. Basically, one of our builders, Phoenix, actually went out of his way to make you all a progression to show you how he goes through things. And basically, you can see here is this is once again the most vital part of your build is your block palette. You always want to make sure that your block palette is laid out, planned out, because you want your builds to look consistent. So what he's done is he's come down here, and this is just his basic flat wall layout. Then he's thrown in a little bit of contrast from that netherrack, and he's put in that white wool, thrown in a little bit of window there, and he's included the fences. He's also placed this log back here. So now we've gone from a one wide wall to 2. And then you see he's actually put in some foliage here to kind of make it a little bit more quaint. And then he's taken foliage here. And then you have your final product. This is just the side of a tiny little house. But what you started with down there with a stone center and a really horrible look, with the addition of about 6 blocks, has become a lot better. And that's the thing. That's what detailing can really do for you. So I encourage you all to get out, practice your detailing, experiment with your blocks, use the websites that we're going to put into the description, and really try to come up with really awesome ideas, because that's the thing. You see so many people and they ask, how do you all do the detailing? It's because we sit around and we try to figure it out. So I encourage you all to do that, and I'll toss it back to you, Ed.
All right, thank you very much. So there we have it, simple tricks and tips to detailing. It's all about practice. Whenever anybody asks us on the comments, what's the secret, how do you do this, what's the magic bit of knowledge? Not really, we just have a lot of time on our hands and like to mess around with steps. Anyway, as these tutorials progress, we'd love to see your own builds, your own creations, your own pictures, so please send them across. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and as always, take it easy. Bye bye.